Good evening. We are recording this episode number 61, I believe, on a very sunny and bright Thursday evening.
It's playing havoc with all of our cameras, isn't it?
Yeah.
Honest to God, I just put my light on. It's being weird. So you're just going to have me in, I'm going to have to do this, am I?
That's what they don't talk about when they talk about the perks of living in Wales is the good podcasting conditions for 6 months of the year after work. Yeah.
Honestly.
But 362 days of the year we get no sunshine, and then today.
But do you know what? When I finally get round to painting my office, which I've been threatening to do now since we've started the podcast, then I will have a fully fitted blackout bind in my window there.
Nice.
So I can set my ring light up because I've got a big makeup ring light because I'm that extra. And then my lighting conditions will be amazing. I'll be able to have my very own golden hour. And I said hour, not anything else. But another quiet week in Welsh Rugby, really, innit? Not a lot's happened.
Yeah, a bit boring, really, isn't it?
I don't swear on the pod very often, but I do feel like saying what the actual fuck tonight because
yeah,
it's just mad and absolutely crazy.
You fucking love
a sunny day in Australia. Yeah.
It is. I did a TikTok yesterday. I do TikToks all the time.
Yeah, you're partial to a TikTok.
I love a TikTok. I'm really good at lip syncing, but it was the we're gonna have a good day. No one's gonna cry today. No one's gonna die today. We're gonna have a good day. Yeah. And because I just felt really happy yesterday.
Yeah, that's
talking about your sort of social media output as well, Sam. Your selfie game reached a new level as well on Saturday.
Don't we fucking know it?
Very impressed.
I know. He wasn't smiling at the end. And to be honest with you, kids had pictures with him and he was great with the kids. A little bit grumpy with me. But then I am a 48-year-old woman going, please may I have a selfie with you, sir? I was like, Oliver, please, sir, want some more?
You haven't explained who this is yet. You just
sorry, I haven't said who it was.
Sorry. I had a selfie on Saturday with Sia Khaleesi.
There we go.
Very impressive.
The big man. The only nice guy in South African rugby.
Or just in South Africa generally, based on this week's Twitter.
Yeah. Honest to God. They can take a flying fuck over a rolling donut. They really can. But lots to talk about tonight, both on and off the pitch. And before we dip into us, then, Drags lads, you're back to form. What's going on?
It had to come to an end sometimes, didn't it?
It did, but I'm sad for them. But they are still through to the next.
Yeah. Hey, if it means that they come out and put a really good performance in the week after next, the weekend after this one, in Europe against Montpellier, then it'll be we'll be singing their praises, won't we? Because I think a few of their usual starters weren't starting for that one, were they? Wainwright wasn't starting.
No, they're a few out, yeah.
So maybe give them a run out this weekend now. Start easing them back into it so that they're ready to go for Montpellier.
Keeping the powder dry.
If I was a Dragons fan.
Keeping the powder dry. I'm not being funny. If you can get some silverware, because let's face it, this URC is not achievable for you now. Mm-hmm. So do you know what? Yeah, go on a cup run, lads. So, upper Drags still. We'd all still identify as men of Gwent. Scarlet Cardiff. I'm not being funny, right? I went to the sports pub in Bridgend beforehand. Because I messaged them to say, are you going to be showing the game? Yeah, we are. there we're at his dad, because John and my brother know him through work. Massive Turks fan, so he wanted to go somewhere to watch it. We just happened to see him. I was like, come and sit by us, don't be by yourself. And when I left the pub to walk over, Scarlets were very firmly in the driving seat. Like, I think Cardiff were on 7 points when I left the pub.
Yeah.
Wandered over, went into the ground, went to get myself a burger and a drink, and everybody around me was like, you are actually joking me. And I was like, what? I looked at my phone and I was like, how the frig have they done that? Did every single player walk off the pitch between
They might
now
as well
and
have.
me getting here?
They might as well have.
I
It was
like,
brilliant.
Yeah.
I
And
can't
all
believe it.
triggered by another yellow
Plumtree.
card for the
For Plumtree.
infamous Kane Plumtree.
And actually took a bit of stick from Nigel Davis, didn't he, afterwards for it? So somebody's calling him out.
But up until
Finally.
then, like when he's playing well, like he had some really, really nosy, shit-hot rugby brain moments in that game.
Oh, he's a
He really
phenomenal
did.
player.
Phenomenal.
And
But
you
you
could
were just a
argue,
clusterfuck.
you could say that 50% of the cards that he takes are harsh or unlucky or
Yeah,
wrong place at the wrong time. But he's a relatively mature player now within that squad. He should be seeing when you've got those accumulating penalties that you've got to play the ref a bit and
yeah.
have a bit of
Yeah.
street smarts really and
Well,
change your
especially when you,
gameplay just for that
yeah.
moment. And he doesn't. He's a hothead and he's reckless and he doesn't
Yeah.
have
And
that
unfortunately,
filter.
he's got that reputation now. So he's probably going to get pinged a little bit more severely. And you're right, Rod. I think he's been pinged a little bit more severely than other people have in the past because that reputation precedes him. We know that when Moriarty was coming here, it was like, oh my God, really? The man's a walking like yellow and red card. Fair play to him. It took until what, February for him to get a proper doozer of a card, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that time away in France has really put an older head on his shoulders and calmed the hot-headedness down. So he's a niggly bastard, but a niggly bastard with a bit of common sense now, isn't he? But yeah, what a game.
It's just watching the blood drain from Dwayne Peel's face throughout that last 10 minutes as he was just the realization coming across him that we might just lose this game. Whereas 10 minutes before, it was kind of, we 100% going to whichever bonus points or whatever. And then, 10 minutes later, they've lost another game. And as you say, that penalty, the yellow cards, is playing that game management, isn't it? They were a man down anyway.
Yeah.
And to get the second yellow on top of that again.
Really comfortable until then.
Absolutely.
And I think the reality is we needed them to do a number for us, didn't we? We needed them to win. So that was the gutting thing.
But still lovely. Still absolutely lovely regardless. I think we'll sacrifice the fact that Cardiff needed to do us a favour just for the delight of watching the Turks leave in absolute despair after probably their most heartbreaking defeat of the season. Sorry. Yeah.
And you saw it on their faces. I don't remember seeing... I've seen Dwayne Peel that disappointed and gutted before, but I don't think I've seen the players quite so demoralised. And they're not playing for anything at that stage, were they? Their league chances of winding up in the top half of the table are out the window. There's no possibility of that. So they weren't playing for clout. They were just playing for personal pride, and that one clearly really, really hurt them. And God, it was good to witness, wasn't it?
Oh, dabs.
Like I would love to for the nice fans that I speak to, like Turk Rod, as I call him, because I got two Rods, like Rodri, who's a Scarlets fan. He's such a nice lad. Like, I say lad, he's the same age as me, more about. But he's really lovely to speak to. Like Kempster, the guy who did all the different regions within their armour on AI. really, really lovely lad to talk to. And there's a number of Scarlets fans who are lash when I'm speaking to them. It's just the odd knobhead. And I know us within our Ospreys community, we've got the odd knobhead as well. Possibly me. Likely me. But, you know, it is. And a derby game always got to hurt a little bit, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean?
And it's just the most Welsh derby, though. It was great. Loved it. As a neutral. Very good.
Yeah. But that brings us to us on Saturday evening.
Another game with some controversy.
Was there?
Was there, though? Was there really?
Was there really? Was there?
I mean, I love it personally. It's nice to have some, some narratives beyond the on-field stuff that aren't just endless WRU drama. It's nice to have something else to chat about.
Well, I think the two narratives, one didn't need to be a narrative, and the other one, you can see why maybe the fingers have been pointed. I'll let you decide which one is which, though.
Yeah. When we get into that. What are you doing, Sam?
I need some electrolytes. I'm tired, so I'm shaking.
It's very distracting. Yeah, do it in view of the camera so that anyone watching
you know
can see that you're not being
a rude dog.
Stop talking there, Rod.
I did see someone the other day who retweeted about reform and said, I'd rather wank with a razor blade. That was, I'd never heard that before, and that did amuse me somewhat, to be honest. But I'm all over the place.
Start at the beginning, shall we?
Yeah, I worked at my mum's today, so I'm a little bit discombobulated, I'm not going to lie, because we know my mother. My mother's a dickhead, and she's run me ragged today. Not going to lie. But as we speak, my phone is pinging with some abuse from South Africans. So
good start to the game.
Good start to the game. Came straight out. Lovely, lovely, lovely try. With that chip from Dan Eds.
Might I say a chip that wasn't on, but they still managed to regather through Iestyn, right? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, Iestyn.
The kick and turned it into one of the tries of the season, possibly.
Absolutely.
But that kick was absolutely not on. but that's what's great about it, isn't it? A team that's got the confidence to put something on like that and then actually deliver it.
Yeah.
And if you don't try it, it's not going to happen, is it?
No.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to be physical. We knew it was going to be, a battle of the front rows, so to speak, because let's face it, when you've got Ox and Kosh coming on, you've got their own version of the bomb squad. But I did think that, that try where Dan scored, chipped over, but it also involved Dan Cassende, Boshoff, and Hopkins. So the four of them made that, and then obviously a really lovely conversion. And the way he just rode to my side of the stand, come on, you knew that he wanted it. Obviously, then lovely try from Jack. Not taken away. They came straight back with a try from. I always get his name wrong. Buthelezi. I'm sure it's Buthelezi. Lovely try from him. He scored 2 tries on Saturday, 2 lovely work tries. But Jack's driving line out, try was great. That intercept from Dan Cassende for Garen's try, outstanding. So I think let's talk controversies then.
But before that, can we comment on the rest of the game? For me, it was just one where we sort of returned to type a bit in a pleasing way. I
Yeah,
think as much as our attack has evolved massively under Mark Jones, that's probably been slightly at the expense of what is our DNA at the Ospreys, which is
yeah,
set piece, forward dominance, that grunt and that heart really to just keep fighting till the bitter end. That classic Boothie
don't give
trope
up.
of finding a way, isn't it, and not giving
Yeah,
up. And that's always been our USP. And I think it has sort of fallen at the wayside a little bit, particularly over the latter half of this season, as we've sort of been embedded more in Mark Jones's plan. So to see us have some more of that dominance and to see a selection where the back row and the second rows are all, pretty large. It was really pleasing that we were still able to tap into that area of our game when we needed to, particularly up against some
we
pretty
were
hefty opposition as well.
very physical in return. Very,
Yeah.
very physical in return.
And that
But
extended to both attack and defence, and not just the forwards,
oh,
the backs as well. Owen Watkin and
100%.
Boshoff in the centre.
Yeah, I
Boshoff's
was going to say,
defensive reading is phenomenal. It's his positioning, but also his timing. I don't know
Yeah,
whether he's advantaged by just playing out in South Africa and knowing how those guys attack, but he seemed to just be all over what is a world-class opposition in Esther Hazen and whoever was alongside him.
it's
So
kind of
they
what
yeah,
he did
were.
all last season, though, wasn't there, Boshoff? And then he's
yeah,
been so in and out at the team in terms of injuries this year that he hasn't really settled into that same form than he was
mm,
last year. But it's nice to see him become towards the end of the season and Saturday being probably the best game he's had all season for us.
yeah,
That he, if you think last year, he was that defensive rock, he was the organizer within that midfield, wasn't he? And often
hmm
the defensive organizer for the whole of the back line, or it felt that way, certainly. And it sort of felt him and Watkin complemented each other in that respect on Saturday. And like you said, Rod, I think the tone was set with that team selection on Saturday. We knew it was going to be a physical battle. So the team selection in terms of, as you say, the back five, the big
hmm
centre partnership, set that stall out from the start that we weren't going to be bullied by them.
yes, yes.
And I think it
And I
was
don't think it.
really,
Sorry.
I think it was really important to show that we had that physicality in
hmm
us and that we could front up to that. And perhaps the wins that we've had away in South Africa weren't just flukes. We are putting the work in, we are putting the physicality in. And I certainly think that we've got, you're right, our DNA of that set piece is really important. And I think I know we'll get on to Cardiff shortly, but I really do think that that is something that's going to stand us in good stead tomorrow against Cardiff, that set piece. But, there was obviously lots of niggle there. We could see that in front of us with, when you had that instant between Cassende and their number 19 that came on, that was very niggly in front of us. The thing that pissed me off a lot was that they were constantly offside. I don't know if you saw, like you two saw that on
Yeah.
TV, constantly offside. They lived offside and it really frigging annoyed me. Because if I can see that up in the stands, how the frig are you not seeing that on the sides? I don't like.
I'm convinced it's your new altered perspective in the stand, Sam. You're so
Right,
used to
then.
being on the halfway line as you've been for years, and now that you're further along the stand, everything looks skewed.
I get
Depends which
that,
half
but
they're playing in, though.
I'm not the only person who's shouting about offside.
Were they only
Yeah,
offside
yeah.
in the first half and not in the second half? Because that would
No,
definitely.
no. Like
Yeah.
as I was looking at it, it was like, and like the guys behind me and the guys in front of me were like, they just live in offside, and I was like, it's a fucking joke. And we were all going nuts at certain points with the ref because I'm fed up of saying now
It
the
it
standard of refereeing in the URC is fucking bobbins.
it didn't jump out to me massively watching on
Mm.
screen them being consistently offside, no more than
Normal.
any other team on any given day.
It was just a very
Yeah,
competitive breakdown area, wasn't it? So it's kind of, it felt
yeah.
fairly equal in terms of, yeah, just felt competitive, as you said. Yeah.
If they were
Oh,
living offside, it wasn't resulting in massive gains for them, was it? Um, yeah, yeah,
it was.
As you, sorry, Sam, as you were saying, rather to going back to the style of play a little bit, I think the balance has been found a little bit now. We had lots of basketball type games end of last season,
hmm
beginning of this season, thinking about the South African tour at the beginning of the year, Connacht game last season, where it was kind of you score, we score, you score, we score. And Mark Jones kind of obviously had brought that flair back into the team. But as the
yeah,
season's gone on, we've now got more of that balance between the strong forward play and still the flair of the back line, which is still very evident to see. Like the Dan
yeah,
Evans try at the start, and then we were still scoring some lovely tries, but there's a little bit of steeliness that's come back to our play, which maybe had gone a little bit in the early Mark Jones days.
yeah, yeah. And that consistency of selection now, I think we've certainly found our starting, given fitness and everything. I was starting tight five, and then I was starting half-back combo, and I was starting back three, and then that allows you to then just sort of modify the back row and the centre partnership to fit the game plan and the opposition that you play in, with the rest of
Mm.
it staying relatively stable, bar injuries. So
yeah,
yeah, putting in Ratty at six to increase the size of that back row when you're facing bigger opposition, or switching between Boshoff and Owen as a more defensive centre partnership to Keith and who am I missing? Singer as the
Phil,
more sort of
yeah,
yeah,
attacking type combo, but everything else around that seems to work across different sort of game plans. So, yeah, yeah, it's probably the most stable the squad's been for a couple of seasons, isn't it? And that's odd saying that because there's some big names who are sitting out at the moment.
Stevesy
Morgan
didn't get
Morse.
his
We
chance.
haven't
Morgan
seen him in
Morse.
ages. Morris has just come back into top form. Um, He'd
but
probably get more of a chance once Jack goes, but
we've got options all of a sudden as well, haven't we? We've
yeah,
got strength in depth in certain positions that gives us options up, like centres, you say, been a prime example. Back row has always been an area where we've got plenty of choice in terms of combinations.
yeah,
Um, Next season, maybe not quite so much with the departures that we've got. We may be operating with a slightly smaller squad, and that stability may be even more obvious next year just because of having a few less options maybe to play.
yeah. But at
But I
least
think,
the difficulty now is not going to be trying to pull together a quality team. It is going to
No,
be trying to identify the best team to play on the day, which is a much better situation to be in, isn't it?
and
absolutely.
that's a nice position to be in, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know, and we've got that. I was going to say an embarrassment of riches, but we have got in riches in that back row position. And you're right, it's nice to be able to switch up against the opposition that you've got and to play that rather than this is all we've got. This is what we've got to field.
I think we've said from day one, Sam, on this pod, and we've got a strong squad, but it's a thin squad. We're only
Yeah,
ever 2 or 3 injuries away from struggling.
it's our
And
Stoke
luckily
like
at the
we were last
moment,
season.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
And luckily at the moment, we're a fairly fit squad and we've got options there. But we need to build some depth into that squad, hopefully for next season as well, whether that's through SRC ranks or whether it's a few shrewd signings in the off season now that we know where we're going to be next year, which we'll go on to in a bit. But
yeah, and I just think you know, could you ever have? All right, circumstances dictated that Deeves didn't get the chance to come on. Um, but it's unimaginable now where you've got a situation where you don't see Deeves in his little yellow scrum cap coming on and
hmm
and playing. Um, so it's one of those things where you've got to be grateful for what we've got. There are certain positions that we would love to see strengthened up. I'm not the only one in saying that we would like, a 10, but I certainly thought it was a very commanding gritty performance on Saturday, and I'm really proud of the result. Also, as well, got to say big shout out to Jack Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Performing under the circumstances that he was performing on is absolutely phenomenal. I don't think I've ever seen a player clear out 3 other players
No.
in a breakdown before in my life. He's basically Superman.
I think that was the loudest I shouted during that game, sitting on the sofa. It wasn't for any of the tries. It was that moment. I was like, did you see that? Did you see that? He cleared one guy, gets back up on his feet
Does
and
another
takes on
2.
the next one.
Honestly, that has been living rent-free in my head since Saturday. Absolutely frigging superb. And, you know, with what was posted then after the game, you could see afterwards he was very, very emotional with his family. And then to see what was on his shirt and to see what came out afterwards.
And the commentators mentioned it
They
during the game,
mentioned
so I
a
don't know
little
how
bit
they
to
knew.
say
They must have been told privately.
Shane is from that area though, isn't he? So he would probably know
And if
about
he was
that.
involved with Bryn Aman Club, yeah. So for
Yeah.
those who missed it, Jack posted post
Lost his
game.
cousin.
His cousin had reading between the lines, taken his own life. So he did a bit of a a call out saying, utilize those around you, speak up, share your feelings, talk about it. But to have played the game that he played under those
Phenomenal.
conditions.
Yeah.
I think this phrase has been repeated a few times over the last few days, but he is the best of us, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Phenomenal.
It's kind of just when you think he can't surprise us anymore and he can't go up in our estimations anymore.
Yeah.
Then he goes and does that.
Absolutely. And I've recently undergone training with Mental Health England to be a mental health first aider. I think I mentioned it a couple of weeks back that I'd had a certificate and I was quite proud of myself. And some of the figures that we were given within there is that death by suicide is one of the biggest killers in young men, and it's growing at the minute. And there are some fantastic organisations out there, like the foundation that people are running the marathon for, and it's so lovely to see lots of ex-players contributing to that Just Giving page. But there's things like Andy's Man Club as well, which are out there. My jumper that I'm wearing today by Dead Grip Tape it's got one of the, I don't know what you call them, the Japanese masks on. And it's got a massive print on the back as well. And this is called The Masks We Wear. And
I didn't realise they were sponsoring us, Sam.
They're not. They're not.
They might after this tonight.
They may. I've got a link with them. I will be frank. I've got a link with them through John. However, the guy who runs Dead Grip is a veteran. Came out of the army, didn't know what to do with himself, has created like a gym clothing brand and does the tape that John and stuff does. And he's done this to raise money for men's mental health charities, and it's called The Mask We Wear, because I think we're all guilty of masking, but I do sometimes feel that men don't feel that they can talk about their feelings. My DMs are always open. If you're part of our WhatsApp chat, WhatsApp me. I'm always here to listen. And I'm really proud to say that there have been occasions whilst we've been doing this podcast that people have reached out to me to tell me that they're struggling and I've helped them. And I'm really proud to say that I've been able to do that. So don't want to be Debbie Downer, but, it's good to talk. So if anybody needs this, reach out. Just reach out. But phenomenal.
And of course, condolences to Harry Morgan and all the family. Yeah.
Horrendous. If you can, donate to the Just Giving. So phenomenal performance by Jack. But I think we've kind of got to get to the controversies, really,
Which one first?
Should we go Luke Morgan first?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, Luke Morgan doing what Luke Morgan should do, which is chasing down the ball, has fallen on Ethan Hooker, and Ethan Hooker, Mark's disappeared.
That's right. Keep calm and carry on.
Just the two of us. Fallen on Ethan Hooker. Ethan Hooker has subsequently dislocated his shoulder. Looked at the time. When I looked at it, it was like, potentially think there's a penalty or a card by you coming, but ultimately no action taken. Since then, lots of Sharks fans have become very, very...
But before we get to that, we should talk about the incident, because it's not black and white and it's not cut and dry.
No, I don't think it was like...
You chose the word fell on him. You did jump on him.
Yeah.
On his back specifically.
There's talk of elbows going in and everything as well, but I think it's
Yeah.
a fucking contact sport. Behave yourself.
It was kind of unnecessary, wasn't it? A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see both sides.
Yeah. However, the outcry is way out of line in terms of what's happened since then. But you can see why the player himself might have been a little bit pissed off by it. But there's no.
Well, a dislocated shoulder for Ethan Hooker is no small thing. No. That could, he's going to be out for months, so he's going to take that career impact. But it could also have longer term effects going forward, couldn't it? So it could, reduce his longevity of his career, but also just reduce the amount of game time he gets over the course of that career, and his what's the word? His robustness during that period. But it wasn't intentional, is what I was getting
at. I get that. For me, when I'm looking at these kind of things, I'm looking at the intent and whether there was any malice. So for me, things happen in the heat of the moment. And you're in that position where you're going to chase the ball. Mm-hmm. If the ball's not grounded, you're going to keep your eye on the ball. You're going to try and dislodge it. You're going to try and, if they're driving over, you're going to try and hold it up. You're going to do whatever you can to dislodge that and save the try from being scored.
Because from Luke Morgan's perspective, the ball has not been grounded moment that he jumps or dives, and it could be spilled forward. And at that point, you want to be in the best position to scramble, to gather, to be the first one to lay your hands on that ball. Yeah. So there is justification for going for the dive.
Yeah. Plus, it happens regularly as well. You see it every single weekend, probably. Yeah. Exactly the same thing. And just it doesn't usually result in the injury, like you said, that happened this weekend.
And I think it's unfortunate that has happened. And I think it, would I have given a card for that? Yeah. I'm being honest. So I do think there was room for that to have an off-field review, and I get it. However, the intent there is not to go out and injure Hooker. It wasn't done with malice. He's not done a rock elbow bomb. He's not seeing what the Rock's got cooking in the kitchen. It's a rugby incident. It's not great. Someone did get hurt, but it is a contact sport. Yeah. So it is what it is. Let's build a bridge and get over that.
I suppose it comes under the sort of duty of care, doesn't it? I suppose, like when a player's in the air and somebody mistimes the challenge, the duty of care is on the tackler to make sure that the player that they're tackling is safe. And I suppose it's the same in this context as well, that it was his responsibility to make sure that his actions weren't putting him at risk in any way, I suppose.
Yeah, and I'm not justifying it in any way, shape or form, but you've got a snap second to make that decision, to make that call. Yeah. And you are sometimes going to make the wrong calls.
Yeah.
And the abuse that's followed off the back of that is horrendous.
Ridiculous.
And not only to him, but to his partner, the wider family. Grow up. It's not great, but you're calling him a scumbag. You know, he's not fucking killed anyone. Like, behave yourselves now. Yeah, be a bit butthurt about it, but do you want me to call you a ambulance? What do you want me to do? Like, it's happened.
Yeah.
He's not had that reputation as that kind of player.
No, but he
It's
has got a
unfortunate.
reputation for being the kind of player who will fight till the bitter end, isn't it? And that's what we were
Absolutely,
seeing
yeah.
in that moment. He was just fighting for every scrap, and it was just a poorly judged moment. But you're right, there was no malice there. And Squidge made a really good point actually on the other podcast. He said, Luke is what? Mid-30s now. He's progressively losing pace, as you do as a rugby player, particularly a winger of that age. Those split set, he might have thought he was marginally faster or more capable of influencing the outcome of what was going to happen
Yeah,
there, and just not factored in, you know, just having that the fact that he's not the player that he was maybe 3 or 4 years ago, but you continue to try and reach those
yeah.
high levels that you expect of
Continue to
yourself,
try
don't
and
you?
do a
So
number. And
we would have
it
been
is
angrier
unfortunate.
if he hadn't attempted
Tried.
anything. Like,
Go
yeah.
on. Go
If he
past.
wasn't going to try, he would have given up the run 10 meters before that, because he would have
Yeah.
gone, right, I'm not going to get there until we're at the
He's
whitewash.
committed
And I'm,
he's committed to it,
yeah,
like, do you know what I mean? And I do think that, you know, he's sorry for it. And I think if he maliciously did something or did it with intent, I'd be a lot more pissed off about it. And I'd be like,
yeah.
yeah, fair play. A lot of the shit that he's getting online and a lot of the staffers are like, he did it deliberately, you did this, that. Nobody goes out there deliberately to hurt anybody. And as I pointed out to someone, pot calling kettle back when you got the lights of Elizabeth, poking man in the eye,
And they're
and
probably the
someone,
same people who are criticising him now.
yeah, and
The same ones
I
that were
just had
defending
someone
Elizabeth back in the day,
saying,
isn't it?
you are a moron. You cannot see the difference between an unfortunate slip of the hand in the heat of a scuffle versus a deliberate attempt to injure. Mate, he poked him in the fucking eye. He went quite clearly in with his thumb. Don't know if you've ever tried to poke someone in the eye. It's quite hard to do by accident. Trust me, I tried it. But I'm like, oh, yeah. So they're going to
I
get
think
hurt about it for a long time.
as a sports person, it's par for the course, really, isn't it? That you do a stupid thing, you're going to get some sort of response, particularly in the social media world that we live in now. But where it's really crossed the line is that abuse is
Hey,
extended to his family, his girlfriend, wife. I don't know what she is to him, but his
partner.
partner.
Yeah.
People have gone out to their way to trace her down on social media just to give her abuse for something that he's done in a game of
And,
rugby. Like, come on, people,
he's
have some
replied to some
perspective.
people saying, no need to call me a scumbag. I didn't mean to
Love
do
that
it.
from him.
This was my intention. And, and then people are like, Ospreys, is it okay for your player to be commenting back on social media? Yeah, it is, because you're calling him a scumbag.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is. I'm
I love that
sorry.
from him.
It's
It's
fine.
probably not the wisest decision, because if there's anything we know, some people just
See,
want attention, isn't it? And if
you're
you feed
you're
them, they're
better
gonna
than
keep
I am.
going.
You're better than I am, because I'd
But
be
I
like,
but I do
twat.
love it. I love it
Yeah.
from
Yeah,
him. I love it from
yeah.
him.
So there was that.
Yeah.
And then there was a rather confusing, and to be fair, I was very confused on Saturday.
As I say, are any of us going to try and pretend that we understand the rules on this? Because I haven't
That's
got a
the
clue.
thing. I'm still not clear on
Neil
it.
explained it to me. My mate Neil explained it to me. I still don't understand it. So you've
No.
got to have someone who is fit to come on within that front row. both hours had gone off, one with hamstring, one with failed head injury assessment. You've got no one else you can bring on, so you've got to go to uncontested scrums. And that's as far as I can get.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know what to
I
say.
think that's kind of all we can understand of it. I mean, obviously the accusation is that the injuries of our players were somehow not as serious as we made out
Mark
for them
Jones was
to
not
be.
impressed by that.
No, and you're calling out somebody for cheating at the end of the day. If that's what they're accusing us of, that would be blatant cheating. And I don't think for a second that Mark Jones would condone that happening on our team.
Listen, should we drug test some of those bastards who went to Razi's farm and came back like 5 stone heavier and can all of a sudden lift a car above their head? Let's talk about cheating, shall we? Let's go there.
Because there's a lot being made of this about the HIA's being passed on Monday. That was failed on Saturday. I don't know how the rules of HIAs work in terms of timescales and that kind of thing. I always thought there was like a definite, once you failed the HIA, there was then a protocol that you were out for a certain amount of time. But
it's an independent doctor. So unless you've nobbled the doctor as well, I don't know about that. But I think they've got stuff in their gum shields now.
Yeah, they've got the gum shields, the sensors. Yeah, they have. Yeah. So whether it's down to the severity of the impact on the gum shield that dictates how long the HIA stands for.
Yeah.
And if it's felt it wasn't a great impact, then they're fit to play on the weekend. I don't know. At the end of the day, we don't know the ins and outs. Only the Ospreys coaching staff will know the severity of the injuries. And again, the abuse that's been dished out online is completely.
Yeah, and I just think.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sam. I don't know whether you mentioned that while I was just gone. But the thing that people aren't factoring into this when they're hurling accusations online, or whether you're the head coach of the Sharks, is that there are independent doctors.
That's what I just
said. Scrutinizing this stuff. Sorry, I'm repeating.
So I've got the criteria here. So it's 4 stages. First one is HIA 1, which he failed, which is pitch side assessment to determine if a player can continue or has to be removed. You've got to have a HIA 2 then within 3 hours of the match. Medical evaluation to check for evolving systems. HIA 3 within 48 hours. Check after 2 nights of rest. So what? Saturday, Sunday night.
Established Monday then, yeah.
Established Monday. HIA 4 prior to full return. Final clearance to return to play following rehabilitation. So he's obviously passed all those. Yeah, so there's quite clear. So it says it's a 6-stage recovery program. Initial 48 hours rest, low intensity exercise, non-contact training, can return to sport, resumption of play. If they fail all 4 HIA protocols, then they've got to wait 12 days before they can go back to playing. So he's obviously got as far as number 3 and been deemed to be okay after the 48-hour period, which...
I mean, the issue with the HIA 1 is so front and centre at the minute, isn't it? In terms of if a player gets a head injury, there is no risk taken at all. There's no questions asked. It's just if they fail HIA 1, they come off the field. They cannot return to play, and that's that, isn't it? Yeah.
And looking at the players who are, taking on World Rugby with regards to, your likes of Alex Popham, you've got players being diagnosed with MND. You've got players who saying, like Sebastian Chabal, he's saying, I can't remember large swathes of my children's lives. We've got to take these things seriously. And I don't think we should be saying that people are going to use it as a way to cheat. We know South Africans in scrummage, but I'm not being funny. We were leading up to like the 62nd, 63rd minute. Yeah, okay, it could have changed, but likewise, you could have you could have taken us over within those 17 minutes anyway.
Because that's the thing. It disadvantaged us, didn't it? So
It did.
practically back to how it played out on the pitch. So there was a period where Evan Daniel came on as another front rower, albeit a hooker, but apparently that can be sufficient in the situation. So there was 10 minutes of dilly-dallying, and then it was determined that we were going to go to uncontested scrums, but we were reduced to 14 players for the last 17, 18 minutes of the game. That's the part that I don't understand. I understand everything up to that point, but why we then needed to be a player down if the scrums went uncontested?
No idea.
Is that just as simple as it's a penalty against us for being the ones to cause scrums to go uncontested? Because that sounds bizarre to me.
Yeah. Don't know the answer, to be honest, Rob.
Don't know. Yeah.
I don't think anybody else did. That's the problem. Nobody knew what the hell was going on.
And everybody in the ground was like, and in all fairness to my mate Neil, then he's pretty good. He's like reffed and whatever. So it's very much, he tried to explain it to me, but it went over my head. So lots of controversy around that. But reality is we came out the winners. We've leapfrogged them a little bit in the table. They're saying that we ruined their chances of getting into the top 8. But do you know what? If you're leaving it till the last 4 games of the season.
And if you can't wind the game out when you're playing with a man advantage for 20 minutes,
it's your fault.
And you've got half the South African squad, then you've only got to look at yourselves. They had so many opportunities that they didn't take, and we did. You know, we played a professional game for 60 minutes.
We did.
And then they had a window.
We were on top.
Yeah, and they had a massive window to take it at the end there where, you know, the odds were in their favour and they still couldn't get over the line.
Looking at the stats, we led for 72 minutes out of the 80s. So do you know what? Yeah. It is what it is. And we've all been on the thin edge of the wedge with those games where we feel like things have gone against us. That's sport. It's not just rugby. That's just sport.
And it needs addressing that, you know, part of this is down to tactical choices that they made as well at the coaching level.
Why not bring Ox and Kosh on from the start then?
Exactly. If they're the strongest outfit, you know, it's a clear example, probably the first or indeed the only time that I've witnessed the South African approach of having a bomb squad and leaving your strongest players on the bench actually disadvantage a team. Because, obviously they couldn't predict that scrums were going to go uncontested. But if you're going to be really... Sorry?
Mark tactically played a blinder.
Yes, yeah, I'd say they're pretty inverse of each other in that sense.
Yeah.
I think we tactically played the right game, and they couldn't have played it more wrong. So you can only blame yourselves, is my message to all those Sharks fans out there.
And we should caveat it by saying that not all South Africans have agreed, and some of them have agreed with us in saying these are sporting incidents, they happen, and they haven't been pointing the fingers and accusing as many others have. So
this will fucking problems and all that jazz. But we've got a nice cheeky little Friday evening game in Cardiff tomorrow. I got off day from work. Yeah, boys. If the weather is as inclemental as it is this evening, then I shall go dressed as a girl. I'm going to go with a blazer on. And 7 o'clock kickoff. And what was being dubbed the Y11 derby is now not the Y11 derby. So, don't know if you lads have had the chance to see the team that we put out.
Yep, looking good.
It's a rather lovely team, I think. And
another 6-2 split.
Yeah. And I have to be honest, that's a really strong looking team for me.
Yeah,
So
it is.
Do you want to
should we go
rattle through
one?
the 15?
Yeah, do you want to, or shall I?
I haven't got it in front of me. I
I've
can
got it
try
here
go
in
off
front of
memory.
me. Um, I'm old. I haven't got memory now. And my dog is farting and she's absolutely honking. Dog, that smells, man. You can tell she's been over my mother today because she's had a chicken dinner.
She's
So
had all the bad foods, is it?
she's had chicken, gravy, mashed potatoes, some sweets, some carrots, and she's honking.
Hilarious.
So starting with one, we've got Gatom, 2 Sam Parry, 3 Botha, 4 Rhys Davis, nice to see him back, 5 Ryan Smith, firmly fan favourite. Now 6 my boy Ratty, 7 Jack as captain. Then we got Morgan Morris, Ruben Morgan Williams, Dan Eds, Luke Morgan. Nice to see that he's been included and it's not like, last week's not horrible. Then we got Kieran Williams coming back in, Owen Watkin, Postman Dan, Jack Walsh at 15. And then our replacements, we got Evan Daniel, Stephen Thomas, Ben Warren, Hugh Sutton, Ross Moriarty, Harry Deeves, Kieran Hardy, and Max Nagy.
Mhm.
So nice looking team there, and some lovely people that we can bring off the bench to make a massive impact. Thought Hugh Sutton was superb last week. Absolutely superb. And being able to bring the likes of him on, Moriarty, Harry Deeves, banging.
I like the team. I hate the way you just read it out, Sam. I will die on that hill forever about reading it
I
50
know,
to
I'm
1,
of the age, but I got to try and be down with the kids, boo.
I know. Yeah, but going back to that, it is a strong looking side. Like the balance of the pack again. Plenty of grunt there. Keeping Ratty at 6, I think, is a good step.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, 9 is such a strong area for us at the minute, isn't it? It's just there is no drop off whatsoever. Whichever one of them starts and whichever one of them's on the bench,
It's so good, though.
it's just seamless now between them both, isn't it? It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's so
They
good
bring
to have
different
them
things,
buy in.
but the
Yeah, they do.
standard is
Yeah,
equivalent.
so the quality stays the same, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
so good to have them buy in.
Um,
So I'm,
uh, has anyone seen Cardiff's team? I was going to ask.
yes,
How are
I
they
have.
looking?
Um,
I,
they've had
I
some injuries,
presume
not
they're
gonna lie.
going full tilt, full strength.
Well, they would do, but they've had some injuries.
Yeah,
So,
I got it in front of me now. So,
you go for it.
and I'm going to piss you off again, Mark.
Oh,
We've
again.
got front row of Rhys Barrett, Liam Belcher, and Yavan Sebastian, who's on a good vein of form at the moment. In the second row, we've got Josh McAnally and Rory Thornton. At 6, we've got Alan Lawrence. 7, Dan Thomas, who is, I think, leading the URC stats for number of turnovers this season, or at least he was at one point. And then Tane Basham at 8, which isn't where we often see him. Then we've got the usual halfbacks of recent times in Johan Mulder and Callum Sheedy. Then we've got Rory Jennings and Ben Thomas outside centre for Ben Thomas, which is a new thing for him. He played there last week, but it was his first time in 5 or 6 years, I think, since he'd done that. And then the back three, we've got Tom Bowen on one wing, Jacob Beetham on the other, and Cam Winnett at 15. So yeah, it's a very strong looking team, isn't it? I don't know what injuries you alluded to, Sam, but that looks like an almost full
It
strength outfit to
was,
me.
I will tell you
Grady
now.
again.
Oh, of course, Grady fractured his thumb last week. Yeah. Did any of you see that?
No.
No, I didn't see
It
the
was quite a
fracture. No.
funny moment. So the Scarlets, he was down and he was getting some attention, and because it was a hand, it looked relatively, non-serious. But it was taking a bit of time to treat him, so the Scarlets fans were booing, started making a bit of noise, telling him to hurry up. So it looked like he was just giving his teammates a thumbs up or something. But what I think he was doing was showing the Turks fan, no, look, there is literal bone sticking out of my thumb. And you could see along that crease, it was like literally split. And you could see blood and then white bone popping out. So yeah, it was pretty
Nice.
grim.
as someone who's broken a bone, let's not. Because I've also fractured my thumb and it's not pleasant. In fact, I've fractured that bastard 3 times. It's painful. It is really, 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 really painful.
So he's going to be out for a little while.
Great, he's going to get the nickname Sick Note soon, though, isn't he, for the amount of rugby
he is, yeah. He is very breakable, isn't he? Or glass hammer.
Fragile. He didn't eat enough petit falou growing up, apparently. I've just got
when we were little, mate.
Munch, yeah.
Munch. Petit falou and baby bells. I've got the season stats in front of me comparing Cardiff and Ospreys. And it's quite comparable, but there's a couple of distinct areas that we're outperforming them, and I think it speaks well for this weekend's result. And I think we should be going out there and targeting, a bonus point win. So the first one that catches my eye is points. So overall this season, Cardiff have scored 290 points across 42 tries, whereas we've scored 314 points over 47 tries. So despite being a little ways down the table from them, we have significantly outscored them on points. So if we're looking just at face value, I think we should be going out there and expecting to outscore them in terms of number of tries, which should hopefully result in a win. Other than that, things are relatively comparable. We tend to get a few more penalties, concede a few more penalties than them, but get more clean breaks marginally. We definitely offload a lot more, and that probably speaks to our change in attacking game plan. But yeah, it should be a good contest up at Cap, really, shouldn't it?
I'm looking forward to it. Got first class booked on the train. Got a table booked in Tiny Rebel from 4:30. Living the dream.
Nice.
Living the dream. So I'm hoping for a really, really, really good outing.
Are you going to have train beverages?
Might have a little beverage,
Train tinny tastes better than any other.
I'm in first class, darling.
So it's going to be a glass of bubbly, is it?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I'm kind of like cider at the minute. Went to see MC Hammersmith last night, and I had 2 bottles of taffy apples. I was slightly pissed. Thought it was very hilarious.
Have you seen the very interesting stat as well that's come out that does have a caveat on it that we haven't lost at the Arms Park since 2007?
I know.
Yes.
However, there have been quite a few judgment days between us over that period as well, where they haven't had the home game. But it's still an impressive stat to be carrying with us, and hopefully not to end tomorrow.
I can live with
that.
They've
beaten us at the Principality and at Cardiff City Stadium, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, so there are a few caveats, but we'll just forget those things.
Forget about that. I'm very much looking forward to it. So, Mark, I know you're not going. Rod, are you just at home?
No, I'm not going. I'm busy, unfortunately.
But I'll go. I'll be the sole pod representative. Pinky promise not to punch certain people in the face if I see them.
I can't guarantee you're not going to do that, Sam. I think if the opportunity's there, I'd be amazed if you don't take it.
And hit a motherfucker like I'd hit a pinata. No. Look at this little face. Do I look like I'm capable of violence?
Or get somebody else to do it for you, maybe.
No, I don't need anyone else. Always my own battles. But anyway.
There'll be a queue anyway, Sam, so don't worry.
Let's get on to the fuckery of this week. So, yesterday was D-Day for the Y11 Cardiff deal. Had some rumblings over the last week or so to say deal was on shaky grounds. Kind of knew an announcement was incoming, didn't know when. And then yesterday morning we had keep your eyes peeled for announcement at midday. Knew something cataclysmic was going to come because I had a phone call from BBC at 11 o'clock saying, are you free later? And it was very much do you know what I know? Do you know what I know? But I know what you know. It was very Friends. I know that you know that I know that we know that I know. And it was announced that there'd been a mutual parting of the ways between Welsh Rugby Union and Y11. Y11 then came out and said that they were committed to the Ospreys, that they were committed to moving forward with Swansea City Council and with St Helens, that work would start imminently. And then the Welsh Rugby Union statement was released to say that they'd given the Scarlets and Us the opportunity to sign the PRA 25, which is currently in year one, 4 years to go, which would take us to 2030, which is what was announced by the council. But there is a break clause within there for 2028, which is where people are getting the 2 years time thing from now to then. So bottom line is we're safe for 2 years. Welsh Rugby Union have kind of doubled down and said we're coming out with a plan in June with how we're going to get to 3.
Which, to remind people, is only 5 weeks away.
It is 5 weeks away.
No faith that they can.
Not a cast chance in hell that's going to happen, is it?
They could not find their own fucking arse in broad daylight with their own hands. Like, let's be frank about it now.
Can we also just quickly backtrack before you carry on to the specific phrasing that was used in the press release? So it was said by Abby Tierney, "We will continue to engage constructively." Sorry, what was it that she said? I'm looking at the wrong quote here, but she was basically
not being funny, Rod. All I heard was like in fucking Peanuts.
It has been that, hasn't it? It's just like it's the most jokey.
Just while you find that, can I just clarify the timeline aspect of it? Because I can't quite get my head around this.
Yeah.
So that 2028 date, is that when they could potentially give the 2 years notice for a 2030 finish? Because they have to give a 2 year notice to the end.
There's a break clause with the URC, I believe, but there's so much information that's floating out around there at the minute, which needs to be clarified and which is still being negotiated. I also thought it was quite interesting that it was said signing the PRA is subject to due diligence. And in my world, due diligence is checking you got the money.
The other thing I don't quite get as well in terms of the PRA is obviously we didn't sign this PRA, neither did the Scarlets initially, because of concerns around the union having too much of a say in terms of where the players are playing and where the coaches are going to be and all that kind of thing or whatever. Has anything changed in terms of the terms of the PRA? Because if so,
the nitty-gritty of the PRA, but I believe assurances have been given with regards to that. I believe that Tandy's been a lot more visible around the regions than Gatland. And I think he's very much of, we need a happy camp. So I don't think he's going to be the type of person who's going to want to move people around like chess pieces on a board if they don't want to be moved. Because I don't think he's that kind of coach. But there's still a lot of uncertainty around it at the moment. But I get the feeling that certain assurances have been given to provide the benefit to enable us to sign. From what I'm hearing, then I'm hearing that there's no issue with the Osprey signing. Due diligence is going to be a bit of a breeze. Don't mean to upset the Scarlet fans in any way, shape or form, but I am hearing from very good sources that they're on shaky ground financially, big time.
You know what's quite bizarre though? The people who probably now feel most pissed off about all of this are probably Cardiff fans, because they've gone through all this process. They're now back in union ownership, and there was a consortium that was willing to buy the club who've now probably disappeared and won't come back into
Hollywood bet.
They probably won't come back into negotiation with the union again, because the union have now said it's not the right time to sell. So all of a sudden, Cardiff are now in a period of flux themselves, aren't they?
If I was going to be smug, I'd feel smug if I was a Dragons fan, because Cardiff are where they've been.
But the WRU have created unfavourable conditions for themselves to be able to get through their own deal by
How can you not get
isolating
frustrated there?
one preferred party and ostracizing the other, despite that we were hearing that it was the better option
Yeah.
on paper. They have created the landscape whereby initially Y11 could dictate terms. They could well still want Cardiff for all that we know, but they're playing the long game, walking away from the table so that in 6 months, 12 months' time, they can go back to the table and get an even cheaper price for what they, or better outcomes, or better, side bits to the deal,
You know,
better terms.
you're
And
asking them
now,
to take
sorry,
a
Sam,
massive debt on.
but now they've created the situation where that consortium could go back now and restart those conversations with the WRU and go, we are now your only option.
Mm.
This is what we
Yeah.
want.
Why would they though? After being shat on the way they did the first time, why would
Well,
you go back and negotiate again? You might just have lost their potential
because
buyout
now they
completely.
know the WRU is probably even more
Inept.
desperate.
Yeah. Well, they tried to take the easy option, didn't they? They thought the easy option would be Y11 buying Cardiff, Ospreys disappear, everybody's happy apart from us.
Yeah.
They move on, and that's blown up in their faces,
And I
and now
think
they're left with a club that they don't want again.
Yeah.
for me, how you cannot get a deal over the line with your preferred bidder raises very serious questions for me as to your ability to negotiate and get a deal through. I just think RCK is going, how long until the other two go out the door behind them? And you know what? I'm sure they're very nice people in real life, but you know what? Not for Welsh rugby. You don't get it. And when you're trying to say to people, Welsh rugby is a thing all of its own. It's nothing like English rugby. It's nothing like Irish rugby. It's nothing like Scottish rugby. The setup and the structure that we've got here is so different. We are the only other that I can compare us to are the New Zealanders and the All Blacks with the way that they feel about rugby, community culture, and all that kind of thing as well. So it's only been 24 hours really until it's all been announced, and there's still a lot to kind of play for with regards to what's going to come out. And I think the telling phrase is, due diligence needs to be carried out.
I think the problem is we've all lost trust in the union if we ever had any in the first place.
None at all.
And the fact that they're saying now is not the time to sell Cardiff, you then wonder, okay, so what is your master plan now?
What
That
is
there'll be something that they'll have planned in their minds of we'll sell them at this point to this purchaser because the situation will be this by that time. They're going to have some sort of plan in place. So they've lost all trust, they've lost all credibility with the rugby public generally, and probably with business as well. But there's got to be something that they're thinking further down the line.
Yeah,
And
and I
and the
think
real kick in the teeth now, as a Ospreys fan, but also as a Welsh rugby fan, is that we're back in the same position that we were at 12 months ago. And we could have retained the likes of Jack and Dewi if they had known that the Ospreys were going to have a future beyond 2, 3, maybe even 4 seasons up to 2030.
Yeah.
And that would have benefited the Welsh rugby landscape entirely, wouldn't it? To keep
Yeah.
two of Wales's best players here.
And probably missed out on other potential signings, not just us, but the other regions as well. Probably missed out on other, maybe Welsh internationals coming home to play in Wales. Who knows what opportunities there might have been there if there was some stability.
And I think I mentioned this yesterday, the fact that your two Welsh captains have felt that they've got, and when they're they're homebods, like they really are homebodies, when they feel like they've got no other option but to go elsewhere and ply their trade, there is something very wrong with that. that there is something very, very wrong with it. Do I think they would have gone? No. I don't think they would have gone if they thought they'd had more certainty.
Yeah, neither do I. I'm not
I,
convinced they
I
would have.
genuinely don't. And for me, they they're family lads, you know. They're not going to be the type of lads who are just in it for the cash or they're in it for whatever. It is going to be a case of we've gone because of the uncertainty.
Yes.
Um,
And the
yeah,
dithering nature of the WRU when it comes to
yeah, and
any kind of decision or progress.
I think it's super, super, super important now as well. Like a couple of people have put on Twitter, um, you know, we've been TV supporters. We're going to buy a season ticket for St Helens. So there are going to be people who are going to come back to to Welsh rugby, to regional rugby. So for me, Ospreys now need to get their season tickets out there as soon as possible.
Yeah,
They
early.
need to get, um, ideally, there's lots of calls from fans online to say, can we have a supporters evening? Can we have some information out there? If I was going to put my money on it, I should imagine that they will get something together. I would hope that now it's, now we know that we're going to St Helens, then it's a case of get the season tickets out ASAP. So, I think it would make common sense to have a supporters evening. I do
It's
think it would be common sense.
it's drumming up excitement for that now, isn't it? They should be looking at opportunities early, some sort of like minis tournament there in the summer now, just to get the word out that it's going to be
Yeah.
opening.
Yeah. So
Some
what do we
sort of
know about the move
competition.
now in
Sorry.
terms of timescales? What do we know about timescales in terms of what the stadium is going to look like? Obviously, we knew it was going to be a slightly watered down version, maybe to what was first planned because of the timescales and things. But what are the definites that we know already?
To be honest, I know that there are plans and stuff available online to look at, but I've not had the chance to look at them, if I'm being honest. Whilst we're on air, an article's just dropped by Wales Online about what's in the PRA. So Wales
Can,
Online,
can we actually read it? Was the question.
there are ways and means, my little muffin. So they've said it's a 4-year contract, but has a break clause after 2 years, which is how the Welsh Rugby Union are hoping to cut a team by 2028. It does provide stability and funding. The deal the Ospreys and Scarlets were on, you won with the Welsh Rugby Union and lost with the Welsh Rugby Union. So if the governing body performs below its financial projections, the clubs are liable to callbacks. Given the Welsh Rugby Union is currently 6 million below its financial projection on ticket sales, this would have hit both Ospreys and Scarlets very hard. Under PRA 25, there is fixed funding from the governing body for the first couple of years, but the final 2 years will be determined by the Welsh Rugby Union's commercial performance. Next year, on PRA 23, the Ospreys and Scarlets would have received 5.4 million in funding, but would have had to have paid 2.1 million in advance from COVID payments that were brought forward. This would have equated to a 3.3 million net cash payment. The biggest positive for the clubs regarding PRA 25 is the debt for equity swap. So we knew that. So they basically they're reducing the debt in exchange for preferential shares in the club. So it takes 3 million of the debt and they swap that for equity. This reduces the debt for Ospreys and Scarlets. And we've also refinanced, which was important for us to do under the PRA 25. We're looking to try and bring stability in the system by reducing their financial outlay. If the club is then sold, individuals with preferential shares get the money back. apparently is something that Cardiff have previously done with Peter Thomas. But as part of the new PRA, they'll get 6.4 million of funding and repay 0.1 million as part of debt management, which is lower because of the equity swap. This means 6.3 million cash payment, and it is competition money is extra. So it will mean that 6.6 million up from 5.1 million. So it's a nice hefty little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's providing a lot of central alignment, but I think there's been some reassurances there now, and off the back of those reassurances, we felt comfortable enough to sign. So those are the kind of timelines, those are the kind of things that were being asked. But for me personally, I think it's a really positive step. I do think it allows the Welsh Rugby Union to backtrack a little bit. Because I do think ultimately they're going to have to do a U-turn, especially if the PRA is linked to profits. Because if profits are down because people are not attending, you can't afford to alienate people any further than you already have.
It's all too much to take in at the minute, isn't it? I can't
I'm
get my head
taking
around
it as a good thing.
Yeah, I think all we can do at the minute is accept that we have a future. It's a short-term future for now. Hopefully, it'll become a long-term future. We have to be happy with that, I think. But I think when we recorded a week ago, Sam, I was completely distraught following the EGM at the lowest ebb I think I'd been throughout this whole process, thinking that was game over. And then a week later, we are where we are. So I think we take that as a massive positive. The fight continues.
We've won the battle. We've still got a way to go in the war. But you know what? We'll take this as the victory that it is this week.
I'm optimistic. Why do I keep doing that? I've done that on every.
Please,
I keep putting my hand up for people not watching.
You've just been brought up properly, Rod. Your manners are impeccable. That's what it is.
It keeps happening every episode. Anyway, what was I going to say?
You're optimistic.
Yeah, I am. I am optimistic. I was saying 6 months ago that I see the Ospreys outlasting this leadership group at the WRU, and I think that's even more so now.
Writing's on the wall from.
I think if RCK hadn't stepped down, Abby would have gone soon, and I now think she thinks she can't until they've got RCK's replacement in post. But I think as soon as they got that, I think Abby will be gone. I don't know about Reddin because he's less in the public view, so you get less of a gauge of how happy he is in the role. But I think Abby's miserable in this post, and given the opportunity, she'll be gone as well, and hopefully the idea goes with her.
It was so funny though, because I said yesterday, perhaps the ladies for turning, and John was like, did you mean to imply that she was like Thatcher? And I was like, no.
No, I meant to imply that she was a vampire.
Yeah, exactly.
She just sounds completely out of her depth at the minute, doesn't she? In interviews, she just sounds out of her depth. She sounds like she's weary of the whole thing, that she doesn't fight in it anymore. Reddin, sadly, I think is confident enough in his own abilities to feel that he can continue to fight what he believes is right or whatever. So I think he might take a bit longer to oust and to get rid of. But I think Abby stays numbered, certainly.
But I'm positive about it all, and I feel much happier about it, and I feel much more comfortable about the direction that we're heading in. Do I think it's over? No. But do I think we are finally turning the tide? Yeah, I do. And I've got to say, I'm really proud of the involvement that I've had with the supporters committee. I'm really proud of the things that we've done on this pod. I'm really proud of the things that we've tweeted and that we've got involved in, because we've made people stand up and listen. So, props to us all.
Yeah, Rob Davis, Rob Stewart,
Council,
Torsten Bell, everyone.
Everything that's been done, Carolyn Harris, the MPs who have spoken up in, national government, the people who have spoken up in Senate.
Yeah.
this is so important for everybody across Wales. We need to make sure that our home in St Helens, our new nest, is a nest for years to come and for the younger generation, the little hatchlings that we've got coming through. We need to get, we need to make that a fortress for them now. We need to make sure that they've got somewhere to call home for elite rugby within the Australia region for many, many years to come.
Yeah. Because if there's anything that will shore up our foundations and make us look like a good bet in the eyes of the higher powers looking forward, on top of having a good stadium, is crowds to increase a bit. So if we can get both of those things over the next
Get a
couple of
season
seasons,
ticket.
and hopefully one thing will feed the other, then we'll be in a much better position when it
Yeah.
comes to any kind of tender process that might be
And
coming
it's
down
so
the line.
nice seeing people saying, I'm going to buy a season ticket.
Mhm.
Do it. Come and join us. We'll all hold hands, sing Kumbaya, plait each other's hair. Amazing. We'll have bonfires on the beach. You'll be banging. But I'm positive. I'm in a good mood about it all. I feel quite happy about it. Now, I am not going to ask a random this week because,
We're
quite
getting on to an
frankly,
hour and a half, so that's probably
exactly.
okay.
All I'm going to say is, Rod, you lucky, lucky bastard.
Oh, yes, yes. I forgot this was on the agenda.
So in the
I
last
forgot
I
year,
forgot all about it. Yeah, look at me.
in the last year, Rod has won a shirt signed by Dewi and Jack, I believe.
Yeah.
She's got one signed shirt
Last
already.
season's jersey, wasn't it? It was the black and blue.
No, last season's jersey.
Not good
He's
enough.
won. He's won the Ospreys in the community raffle, which we had a day out in a box
I
with.
forgot about that as well.
Forgot about that. And then the little bastard won Grant's signed shirt last night. But we're not talking like shit signed shirt. We're talking Galactico signed shirt.
Yeah, yeah. Full squad. 5 Lions. 2 future Lions.
Your level of smugness is off the scale at a minute, Ross.
I'm just a winner at life.
Feel like you're a lucky butter and I need to rub you or something, not in a weird way. Rub your belly.
Oh,
God.
God.
Oh, my God. It's all going
And
down
we're back there again. No,
those aren't all of them either. About maybe 7 or 8 years ago, so it's going back a little ways, but I won a Lovell Rugby Six Nations competition on Instagram as well. You know those ones that you think, are they fake?
Yeah.
Tag a friend, tag as many friends to get extra entries, blah, blah, blah. I did one of those and I got a Welsh, not just the supporters jersey, the actual 150 quid play-in jersey.
You know what really pisses me off, though? You pissed on my chips this week, you have. I am so excited that I bought myself a rugby ball that I'm going to have made into a handbag. And I swear to God, everybody who saw me Saturday was like, what you bought a ball for, Sam? I'm having a handbag made. What do you mean you're having a handbag made? So I've had to stop then and show them my Instagram to show them this Annie Carmen and how she makes these bags. And she's not taking commissions yet, but Annie, do a girl a solid. The ball that I got is banging. It's black, grey, white, and pink. And I just bought the bag. So I need you to start taking commissions now, girl.
If you just think this, Sam, think about the joy you'll get and the use you'll get out of that bag. Rod shirt's just going to hang in a frame on a wall, isn't it? I mean, what use is that?
Yeah, but it could hang in a frame on the wall in my office because I work from home. He's a student. What joy is he going to get out of that?
I will wear it on a pod before it ends up in a frame.
You can't wear that.
Just the once.
You can't.
I've worn my Jack and Dewi one.
I know, but I can't believe you wore that either. So
no food and drink that night, Ron. No cups of tea.
Yeah.
No bacon
I
can
sit at my desk in it.
And
do you know what I've done? I'll wear a t-shirt underneath as well.
So you don't smell.
It does not need to go in the wash.
Okay.
But no, massive thanks to Grant. And it's worth saying, that's for Grant's Right to Rugby fundraising. I don't know specifically what charity he's fundraising
Ospreys
for.
in the community. And they ride from Swansea to Cardiff tomorrow for the derby. So we will see them there. I will buy them a beer if I see them because they'll have obviously done a bit of a trek. So good luck to Grant, good luck to Tom, good luck to Neil.
And I don't know if their donation pages are still open, but go and check out their
and I'll
Twitters
share,
and have a look if you want to.
So get that done. But no rando from me this week. Just a bit of green eye jealousy because of the lucky bastard.
That's all right. I prefer that. That's better than being in the hot seat. Just knowing that you're sitting there glaring at me with envy.
Green I am. Absolutely green. I'm feeling every inch of my Slytherin Harry Potter house tonight. Green.
I'll let you touch it.
That sounds really fucking bad. I'm not a nonce.
Please add the shirt at the end of that sentence. Right?
Like that. Can you remember what's his face? What was it? Simon and they were on Going Live.
Oh yeah.
Rub their thighs. Simon and oh my god, you know what I mean?
His name? Yeah, I can't remember the other one's name now. Though.
And they was rub their thighs. Rod's now what
on a postcard.
Fuck is this? You'd have no idea if I said to him, Mark, I could crush a grape.
Yeah. So many references.
But you put some complete randos out from there.
Yeah, it is completely random. But Mark knew what I was on about when I said, I could Stu Francis. Crush a doll's house. I loved it. But that has been us. So I hope we've given you some joy this week. It's a much more positive pod from us off the back of that win against the Sharks. Much more positive on the front of Ospreys surviving as a region for the next 2 years. And yeah. Anybody see Cardiff's TikTok last week when they were doing their Let's Beat the Jack song? No? Watch the Cardiff TikTok if that's not been playing to the lads all week. And I think Morgan must have seen it because when he did his post-match interview, he said, yeah, we want to go there and win because what would be better than knocking them out of the top 8 and the playoff spots? So that's obviously been living rent-free in their heads all week, which bodes well for tomorrow evening. So
it's going to be an interesting one psychologically, isn't it?
Plus the Buzz Shield is up for grabs as well, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And they've not done me dirty when I've gone there to watch them. So let's hope that continues tomorrow. And because let's face it, certain parties on Twitter have been having a fucking aneurysm this week anyway. So let's see if we can pop and make it pop. And they go apoplectic tomorrow if we win. Make my day. Happy days. But I'm in Tiny Rebel from 4:30 tomorrow. If anybody wants to come and say hello, you're more than welcome. My lot are lovely. It's me that's the arsehole. But feel free to come and say hello. And all that remains to be said is, I'm Lina Gwiles.